And there's something beautiful in that. And it's the idea that what makes you worthy is that those people choose to be in your life because they see you as worthy.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you can just connect that
I know,
dot, like it's
I
like
know.
that, but
then
it's hard.
You're good. Yeah.
But it takes a while. It takes a while for all of us. We've all been conditioned, whether it's everyone around me matters, everyone around me doesn't matter. Like whichever way we are, we're all at some end of that spectrum.
Yes.
What are the experiences in your life that you think have made you become resilient? Like when did you start to look at your life and go, I've been through a lot of tough stuff.
Yeah.
And that's built up resilience. What were some of those events, or what was a moment that you felt made you resilient?
Yeah. It's interesting. Whenever I start to like, again, like compliment or like pat myself on the back in any sense of the word, I get so like, my immediate like response, to be frank, was to be like, well, I've had it very easy and and I'm good. And don't get me wrong, I have in many, many ways. But I think that I feel like my resilience comes from like two different things. A, like things that I actually go through. B, things that like how I speak to myself. I'm very resilient when it comes to how I speak to myself. Like if I had the inner monologue that I have that was from another human being, oh my God, like that would suck. That would suck. But for whatever reason, I keep pushing through and keep going. And that doesn't really change that much, but I keep going. Yeah. But like situations like, for instance, like so Snow Angel, which was like the single of this album and is now like the album title and everything, is something that I've like talked about for months, really just being like, okay, this is a situation that happened to me and this is something that like I'll eventually talk about, but like I want you to like have the song, sit with the song, interpret it in the way that you need and feel like it can like sit on you so that you have it, because like the situation of that song is something that I pray and not something legit that everybody can like relate to in the sense that I went through it, which I'm very glad about. But like that was a huge moment of resilience for me. And even writing the song, I feel like was resilience. And then in a way, holding back from then talking about it for a couple months was resilience. So it shows up in my life in a lot of different ways. But for that specifically, it was January, maybe late January, early February of 2022. And I had just gone through like a breakup and it was really tough. And it was like the first time I had ever been really in love with someone and then experienced like a breakup. And I had been in relationships back to back for like 5 years. So my like later teen years were all that. And so at this point I'm 22 and I started like having like freedom in my life kind of for the first time. And I was living here in LA and I was like hanging out in a new group of people. And they were partiers and they like really sent it, really sent it. I like had heard from like my family and like my friends around me that like, this isn't really like a good group. We don't think for you. And that's not to say that these are bad people, because I don't believe that. I think that people can do bad things and still be good people sometimes. So a couple of them. But I was in this group of friends and we were just like sending it. And it was the first time in my life where I wasn't working. I was fresh out of this relationship. I was just going there. And I think that I had always had to like really like nail myself to the ground, and I'd always been just so incredibly nervous, and for the first time I just like didn't, and I like really let my judgment go when it came to the people that were around me. And we were all out and it was just situation after situation where they were just not trustworthy. And then like the next thing you knew, I was face up, like laying down in like a bathroom stall in a hotel bar, just waking up at like 5 a.m, like completely alone. And I woke up and I was just so confused. And I had like blood on my pants and I was really just like so caught off guard. And I like looked down, I had my phone and my purse, and I looked down and I was completely alone in a bathroom stall. And I looked at my phone and it was like 5 a.m. I was like, what happened? I was like, I was out at like a party with like my friends. And I had missed 2 texts from 2 people that I was with at like 10:30 the night before, which was like 7 hours had gone by. That was like, hey, I guess you left. Like, we'll, see you when we see you. And mind you, I was dating somebody in the group at that time. And so I didn't go to this place alone. And I had like a boyfriend or a situation or whatever, somebody that I was at least with that just was nowhere to be found. And so I still have no idea what happened, no clue what happened. But I was drugged and just like missing for like 7 hours. And I stopped being friends with those people and stopped doing as much partying as I was, and told my parents, told some of my friends, and just kind of explained it in like a really matter-of-fact way. And they were all very concerned. And I didn't really even understand what was happening because, again, I didn't recall anything that had happened. And then a couple months later, we like really delve into it. And like I kind of started to like have to like deal with everything that happened, and was just crying and so upset and very confused and then resentful of those friends that I was with. But all that to say, then like a year later, we wrote Snow Angel, and I had been saying to Alexander, who I did this whole album with, like, I really want to write a song about this. I'd recounted the situation so many times. And after like the 10th time of telling like a group of people that through maybe just music sessions that you were like drugged and you have no idea what happened, and you were like kind of into drugs at one point, but you don't really want to talk about it, but you do want to write a song about it. And them just being like, then you kind of stop wanting to write that song naturally. So I was like, okay, I guess I just won't write anything about this. And then eventually Alexander like came back to me and was like, I really want to write that song that you were talking to me about. And I think you and I should just do it together. And I was like, okay. And then we started writing it, and it was just the two of us. And frankly, the whole time we were writing it, I felt nothing. Like I was explaining all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, and you can like reference like the snow as whatever you want to reference it as and things like that. And I felt nothing at all until we like had recorded the song. The whole thing was done, and I played it for a bunch of my friends and my manager, and everybody was like, this is insane. But for me, that whole year of my life was inherent resilience, because not only was I like fighting through an experience I have no idea what happened to me, lost friends, felt like I couldn't go out with anybody and trust anybody, and then was like trying to explain the situation in a way that I understood it, but I didn't really understand it, and then wanted to write a song about it and wanted to write an album about it, but was also afraid to be judged for having something like that happen to me. But it's also like, what did happen? So it was a whole thing. Up until we decided to like name the album Snow Angel and have that be the song, that to me was all resilience, because I was just like kind of cold face, like fighting through everything. And I still don't really know how I feel about it. I just know that I feel weird and very resilient.
That's resilient for sure.
Yeah, that's resilient.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, have you ever been able to piece anything together from the night, or not at all? Like just nothing. That must be so. That's almost like so disconnecting from
very
yourself.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Yeah, no, I have no idea. And I just stopped talking to the group of people. I was like, I don't want to know what you know or don't, or what you claim to know or don't know. I just wanted to let it go.